So this is my daughter. I was taking care of her. I had visitation. I was never given custody of my daughter ever, but I did my best as a father raising her. This is a picture of the first time Antonia, mother of child, was attacking me. She scratched the head of my daughter. Antonia's family, particularly her dad, uncle, and even the female who's the house owner of her family household party, are criminals. They have large criminal background histories. Although mother of child isn't necessarily a criminal on paper, she has done quite a few domestically violent acts towards me and the child in secret. And I've presented a lot of this information to CPS. I even have a video of her pushing my mom and this evidence to Roberta Hayashi, who ignored most of this information and gave my daughter to family criminals. Heck, if you really want to be critical about it, I probably should have gotten 100% custody, but it never happened. My own personal track history, my education, everything that I presented to the court should have suggested that I am a capable father, able to have 50% custody. This courthouse is out of control. Something needs to be done. There are literally hundreds of dads that are in situations where they feel obligated to be discriminated, and that is not okay. It is recommended that 50-50 custody be given to the parents immediately without discrimination. This courthouse is not doing that. It's taking all of those rights away from the father away, regardless of any of their training or their ability to parent and raise a child. You don't need necessarily money to raise a child. You need mental stability. They post up pictures of how you have the right to be in your child's life and child needs you, but then they just simply take the child away from you. It's just straight up terrorism. I rebuilt my whole backyard preparing for my daughter. You must, and when you see the reviews, how horrible this courthouse is, it is nothing but straight terrorism in Santa Clara County. So look out, America. If you're going to come to California and stay in Santa Clara County, you do not want to bring your family here at all if you're going to have any kind of risk of going to the family court, because you do not have rights as a father. They will do nothing but take your money here. They are thieves. They're terrorists. They are family destroyers. They are people that are unfair, that are people like Brenda Vieira, the screener, that'll just testify against you. This is the front of the courthouse. People have been destroying the glass because they're angry with the people that work here. My advice is to just not establish yourself in Santa Clara County if you have any kind of risk of losing your family, because this place is not going to be fair to you. They're likely just going to rip your family apart. It is an abomination. It needs to be stopped. When you come into Santa Clara County, cops are friendly, clerks, sometimes helpful, sometimes not very helpful. It really depends on your attitude and what you're looking for and how persistent you are, how open-minded you are, how friendly you are. The real discrimination in this courthouse that everyone hates is actually going to occur in the screening process, and also when you go before the judge presenting your evidence. These are the people that discriminate you, not the clerks or the police officers. I would call these judges terrorists because they're sexist. They side with one side. They're possibly racist. They're not following moral ethics, and they're being erroneous a lot of time on purpose. A good judge is going to give both parents 50% custody, regardless of who says what, unless there is significant evidence present, in which case both parents would be taken away from the child. But usually it's recommended that they just go through therapy. I've taken quite a lot of psychology classes, including child development, and I know that both parents are needed in the child's life. I don't think it's fair that a good parent should have been taken away from the child while the bad parent is in the child's life. So Santa Clara County needs to wake up. I support 50% custody because even if one parent is better than the other, a parent develops from having a child in their life. Now, before you go thinking, oh, uh, parents don't necessarily need 50% custody, you know, it's actually a corrupt business why they're doing it. Nancy Shaefer was aiming to stop that and was murdered in the process. This is exactly why I stop at nothing short of saying that what Santa Clara County is doing to fathers is terrorism. It is terrorism. What they're doing to fathers is wrong, and they need to stop. If you wonder why Democrats are so against guns, well, it's actually to prevent people from retaliating against their antics against people. We need to be able to record, sue, and prevent judges from taking 50% custody away from parents. This is going to be important for boosting the economy dramatically. If we have enough people applying for state legislative branches, which often go unopposed, we're going to have likely more fair systems. Fair and reasonable laws for all of us. You need to also consider who's in charge of electing those officials. There's a big difference between a father that has children with one mother and multiple. Not everyone gets to experience what it's like to have two biological parents in their lives. But let me say that if it's done correctly, it could mean that the child is wealthier. Ironically, taking a child's custody away from a father is actually going to convince them to have more than one child from multiple mothers, cause more damage to society potentially. Good rule of thumb, according to Google, and I guess this makes sense, is if you live within 20 miles of each other, 50% custody should just be automatically given to you. But it's not. I don't believe having child support payments really affects the fathers as much when they're very wealthy, since it goes on a calculator based on about 20% of their income. So when you have a lot of income, it doesn't really apply as much. It doesn't really have any negative consequences. Working class families, on the other hand, are completely different. There's many studies that suggest that a 50% custody or even 65 to 35% custody would benefit the child much more, keep them from doing drugs, help keep them out of poverty, etc. This might even extend to richer families, but where there's a lot of money, there's a lot of options too. Now that we got the richer families out of the way, basically the main lawmakers, this is mostly a call out for those lawmakers to help the impoverished people to better care for the children that they are raising so that they grow up more efficiently than they would if the father was taken out of the child's life. Some of you might argue, hey, these celebrities, have multiple baby mamas or multiple baby daddies and they seem to be just fine. Well, my counter argument to that is these fathers have a choice to have that custody with that one mom or to have multiple. When families have more than one baby mom or more than one baby daddy, it only makes sense to make those child support so that they take care of their children. The argument with impoverished families is money isn't going to help the child at all because they don't have much money in the first place. Therefore, the only thing they can offer is their energy, their education, their time. And that's the best thing for them. I know that the love that's going to come from a biological parent to their biological children is going to be genuine. Santa Clara County doesn't even have the child support correct. Not only am I paying a couple $100s more than what I should be paying, but I have to pay for supervised visitation. It totals up to about $1,200 a month, and I don't even make anywhere near that. It separates the father from the children.